Well, these are my dogs. That's Jack and that's Mutz. I didn't get either one of them. They both got me. You've seen all this stuff, I think, already, probably in one of my other videos, all my welders. That's a cutting torch cart. I actually made that out of an old wheelchair. It works really good. My old Lindy welder. My Miller Synchrowave. I just bought new tanks for both those, had them refilled. 140 bucks or 150 bucks, I think. That's my Daytona MIG 110 volt welder. Bird cell spot welder. That sat outside for like 30 years in the weather and still works. I managed to get it working. This is a bunch of abrasives I bought at a barn sale once. I got all that stuff for 50 bucks. There's sanding drums and some sanding discs. A whole bunch of sandpaper, rolls of emery cloth. Pretty good deal. That's just all my rags stacked up and a bunch of junk. This is my sewing machine. One of my mentors when I was growing up, his mom did upholstery work, and he told me when she passed away, he would give me her old sewing machine. And I'll be darned if like 30 years later he didn't do it. Called me up one day, hey, come get this machine. So I've done a couple of upholstery jobs for him. It's a nice machine. It's actually, it says Chandler, but it's actually an Adler, made in Germany. Really nice machine. Had to do some work on it, but it runs really good. These are all my gun projects I have going right now. This is the AR I'm building. I just got up most of the parts. That's all the material I ordered. I think I'm going to use this one for the upper. I got some 6160 too, 6160 also. I don't know if I can use it or not, but anyway, that's all my stuff. I went to a gun show this weekend and picked up some magazines and gas block, gas tube. I bought this, and then after I got it home, I realized it had the wrong threads. So I used a tap to hob the threads in it to get it to fit. So it screws on. This is my Egyptian Mahdi AKM that I'm working on. Both the AR and the AKM use jack squats flats. So I'm at the point now where I'm ready. I got them spot welded on. I'm ready to weld the three pieces. I've reparkerized some of this stuff. That's my Sammy, I guess it is, Sami M31. It's kind of on the back burner right now until I decide what kind of a trigger group and hammer setup I want. This is another rifle. I've been trying to get this one. I finally got it. I've been working on the guy since last year. It's a 1866 trapdoor, Springfield. I really wanted one of these bad because they were originally made in 1864 for the Civil War, and then after the war they were converted over to shoot a 50-70 cartridge. And this one here is all complete. It hasn't been cut down or anything. It's in really bad shape though, so it's going to be a fun project. This is some more of my AKM parts I got. Magazines. I got a leather strap for it. That's pretty cool. Pouch. I got some, I live in California, so you can only have 10 round magazines. I got these from one of the dealers. They're pinned for 10 rounds, so at least it'll look like a AKM. These are leftover parts from my M1 carbine build. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with those yet. Some more parts to my cabinets that I haven't finished in the house yet. All my stereo junk where I recharge all my batteries. I got speakers in my shop. This is all my reloading stuff. I've just got a single stage press. This cabinet actually closes up. I live in Central California, and where I live it's really sandy and everything gets really dusty, so it's hard to keep stuff clean. It's impossible. This is a sewing machine. It belongs to a friend of mine. I'm just storing it for him right now. This is an old table saw I bought. This is the first one I bought a long time ago. I got it from Chuck Holmeyer. He competes with Harbor Freight, I guess. Somebody actually builds tools cheaper than Harbor Freight. But I found the stand. It was off something else, and I put that on there. And I don't use it for a table saw anymore, but I saved my old blade. It's a fairly fine-tooth blade. And I use that for cutting aluminum now. So it works pretty good for thin plate aluminum. This is my table saw. I got this for $100. It's an old Delta cast iron top. I replaced the thing around the blade there. Just lucked out. Sears makes one for their table saw. And it pretty much fit in there. I had to relieve it on the bottom a little bit. And then I extended the tubes out another couple feet. So this is my welding bench, workbench. It's actually made out of an old hospital gurney. So I've actually got two. My off-feed table here is actually, you can see it's an old hospital gurney too. I have the sides propped up to catch wood when you're cutting on the table saw. All this cabinet underneath is this is all my paint, and I keep all my chemicals are in here. Lacquer thinner and all that junk. All this is all my house paint, spray paint, junk like that. Masking paper. These are my belt sanders. I bought this one from Northern Tool. They had it on sale for like 49 bucks or something. The shaft on the other side's bent, got bent in shipping. And that's one of them deals. It's like work in progress. I had to rework the whole thing, but it sands pretty good now. This is another one of those Chuck Holmeyer deals. You can see the label there. It's pretty good for wood. I only pay like 49 bucks for that one, and I think that's about what I paid for that. This is a belt sander I use all the time for metalworking. I picked this up at one of the farm shows for 100 bucks. It was an attachment, and then I bought this grinder to put it on. It's a 1 horsepower Craftsman. And I work at a hospital, so I get all kinds of junk like this. Nice lamp. I got a couple of those. This is a joiner, 7-inch joiner, Harbor Freight one. It's okay. It's not the best joiner, you know. I use it, but after I bought it, like I swear, like 2 weeks later after I bought that one of the guys I work with gave me this one, an old Delta, and this thing cuts really nice. I've got a new set of blades I got to put in it. You'll notice the fence is pushed way over because that's the only sharp part left on the blades anymore. But I got that for nothing. That's a really nice machine. I had to do some work on it, of course, but it was nice. Some electronic scales I threw in the trash. I threw them over there out of the way while I was cleaning up. I got this at the same time I got my table saw. I paid 100 bucks for the table saw, and I paid 100 bucks for this. Nice old radial arm saw. Cuts really good. Not a lot of horsepower, but it does work, you know. And the guy I got the joiner from, I also got this wood lathe. And I've used it a couple times. I'm working on the tool rest right now. It had been broken and it was crooked, and so I started to redo it, and then I realized that it was actually crooked from the factory too. So I've got it almost straightened out. I just got to finish making a pin for it. Nice wood lathe. Got a bunch of woodworking tools for it. This is my wood bandsaw. I picked this one up down the street, I think up from the neighbor, for 15 bucks. These are pretty cheap, but they work pretty good for wood. I bought another one. I bought this one too. I bought this one at I think St. Vincent de Paul's. It's basically the same thing. Different. It has a different brand on it. These are all my hand tools I've collected. Got a couple of skill saws up there. Some lights. Cordless drill. This is a rotary hammer, half-inch rotary hammer, or not a half-inch, whatever it is, a big rotary hammer. Delivered, it was like $45. It was cheaper than renting one. Anyway, I got a couple more drills up there. Belt sander, I think. Body tools. Got some routers, couple of routers there. I've got another router down there in a box, and then I've got one in this router table. So I got another router table there too. I got a bunch of cordless drills. This is the first Milwaukee. I've had this one since I was 21. So it's like, what, 36 years old, still works. I got like, I don't know, 10 electric drills, sanders. I got sanders. I've got no shortage of grinders. My grinders, I usually put a different stone on each one, then that way I don't have to change them. These are my nail guns from when I built my house. Upholstery stapler. All my cordless drills. Most of these, some of these I picked up on closeout tables and stuff. I actually bought these 18 volt ones. They're GMC. I got them from Lowe's. I bought one for $100 with 2 batteries, and then like 6 months later, I bought the second one on a closeout table for $50, and I bought it for the 2 batteries more than anything. When my cordless drills, when the batteries go bad, I'll go to the discount tables and buy the batteries that they have closed out, like these here. I bought a whole bunch of these, and then all I do is I take the NiCads out of them and resolder them, and put them back in the drills and rebuild the cases. Some of the cases unscrew and some of them don't. Here's one that I just got taped together. That's one of the first ones I did. Here's a kind of a weird drill. I don't know if you can read that or not. This is a 12 volt Bosch. A buddy of mine gave it to me because the batteries were like $80 for new batteries. So I took it home. I was trying to figure out what I'd use it for, and I was looking at it, and I had an old wore out Black & Decker 12 volt. So I decided I would do something to it. So I cut them in half, and it now has a Black & Decker battery on it. So that's my Bosch & Decker. Bunch of air tools, sanders, and saws and impact, stuff like that. Pipe wrenches, funnels, old antique drills. I got an antique hammer drill somewhere. There's my freaking cheap bandsaw. That thing's hilarious. It's got like one piece of metal in the whole thing. All this is all plastic. This is all plastic. Everything's plastic. It's got like one piece of metal in the whole thing, but it works good. Another Chuck Homeyer. I picked this up on a closeout table. This is really good if you guys ever get one of these. It's a dual cutter. It's a, what, 5.5 inch blade or 5 inch blades. They're counter rotating. Really good for cutting metal. I got this one on a closeout table for, I don't know, $50 or something. They're normally about 100 and something. Miscellaneous tools. I got 2 Sawzalls. I got one in there and I got another one down there in the case. I do a carpet work too. There's a knee kicker. This is another saw somebody gave me. I haven't got around to do anything with it yet. Still sitting there. I think I'm going to end this video here and start a second one.